so I just rewatched David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy and back to back. Um, so yeah, honestly, I like from what everyone knows of my previous films and reviews and everything on the films is that I didn't hate it any of the movies. Like a lot of people love to hate and jump on the bandwagon of ends being the worst, and though it's not really consistent, the whole storyline, there it does have its flaws. I acknowledge that, and I'm very aware. Um, but all the way back from 2018, um, the first film or the first sequel to the original, well, to this timeline, um, I really think that you know there's some strong elements in it, and there's some also a lot of downfalls in the movies. But overall, I really enjoy the 2018 film and Kills and Ends for different reasons. We're going to talk about them now. So if you want to stick around, um, as far as like the direction, um, I think is pretty good. Having John Carpenter back for the score along with the son. I think that's one of the best elements is the score. The portrayal of Michael Myers in this is great. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. She's good. She gives her best performance out of all the Halloween movies she's been in. This is her better performance here. Of course, she's older now. Has more experience in the first film because that was her first starring role. And, it does have a lot of her influence in the films, as, she's had wanted them to be basically different than the rest of the franchise with some, thematic themes and discussions with trauma and fear and all this different complex storytelling thrown in, which is not like anything too deep to where but it's like for a slasher, yeah, has it's set in some realism here, and I think honestly comparing these films to the rest of the franchise overall, because there are some stinkers in there as well as some classics. You know, notably being the first, the sequel, Halloween 2, in my opinion, H2O, and on its own way, Halloween 3, I think, is really solid too for its originality. And that's one reason I like these films, because they add something new to the table, especially Ends. It's the closest thing we've got to an anthology series since 3, Season of the Witch, and I think that it really, in time, will also become a cult classic, maybe, in its own right. As well as these, the first Halloween 2018 Halloween Kills, much like the franchise itself in the 90s, well, the 90s and 80s and, late 70s. So, yeah, as far as the comedy thrown in, I was never a fan of that. It's definitely one of David Gordon Green's stamps, and I'm just not a fan of it. But now that I know what to expect and have watched them I don't bother me as much, because there's not too much in it, you know, aside from the peanut butter on my penis and then the whole police lunch dinner thing at the end. Um, and there's even a deleted scene from the first one where Dr. Sartain's picking his nose. Glad they cut that out. But yeah, definitely 2018 is the strongest out of the trilogy. Um, it has a better flow, better um, sense of storytelling, and you know the sequels to that. I was really excited for Kills because it could be like its own thing instead of worrying about having to be a sequel to the original Halloween. Um, and that flashback scene was amazing. Like as good as that was, I wish the rest of Kills was just as good. Um, but it has some really good moments in it as well. It has some good drama moments. It has a lot of good kills, obviously. Um, and sure, someone could argue that Michael Myers isn't really the stalker type, uh, you know, is a force of nature in this, and what he's known to be, but like, he's more, I don't know, like more like a Jason Voorhees type, just on a rampage, you know, not so much of looking in the shadows and, you know, when he's gonna pop up, he just kind of does. Um, but I mean, it's just the way that the audience is. The generation is used to watching films now. You know, you gotta keep it fast paced and lots of deaths. You know, for today's standards. And hello, who? Oh, bye. Someone was watching, but they left. Bye, bitch. Uh, but I think that, you know, I appreciate the different choices they put in this film, or this trilogy. Um, I think that, you know, yes, the stories and the structure and all is wonky and kills and ends, um, but like I said, considering the franchise earlier on, um, like a lot of them were pretty bad. Like, you know, so in comparison, these are a step up. Um, but um, yeah, like they're not so like the story isn't just it's not like a Cult of Thorns story, which I couldn't get into the, you know, Halloween 6 could have been had potential to be a great Halloween film. I think with the atmosphere, the settings, you know, even the mask I liked, the lighting, um, it's just this. Its only fallback was really having to, you know, carry on from the shit pile that was Halloween 5 and bringing the Cult of Thorn into it, and it was just convoluted and just didn't make no sense as far as, you know, what, you know, Michael to be or lack thereof. You know, we didn't need a backstory, we didn't need a reason, and this was a horrible one at that. Um, and I feel like, uh, you know, these movies didn't have that, like those moments that are those big plots that really just, you know, ruin any potential the film might have had, really, overall. And I guess I'm not a fan of the Dr. Sartain story. Um, you know, it was just too abrupt and, um, but then, you know, the hospital scene and kills, the Michael Myers being weak and ends. I can see everyone's complaining. I don't like that either at all. Um, like like I've been saying in my reviews before when that movie came out, the movie would have been better without Michael Myers in it. He really didn't have to have him. They could have introduced Corey and kills. Um, honestly, would have been better as far as the story. Um, and like the end of ends, how Corey just, you know, offs himself, basically, when he goes through all that to try to kill Laurie Strode. It's like you're gonna focus the whole movie on him and his character and everything, and then just be done with it, and then we get the showdown with Michael Myers and Laurie again. Like, you know, we didn't need it. You know, we got that in 2018. We got it in H2O. We also got it in Halloween 2 and the first film. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like it was just a broken record as far as that goes. So I was really wanting something new, and you know, we got it. It just wasn't well praised, um, which I, you know, to an extent I do get, because it was just really just out there, you know, as far as like the whole Michael transferring his evil into Corey or whatever it was with the shaking and all that. That was whack. But as far as like the town, you know, and Laurie and Corey's character having like this connection in a way, like their similarities, and as far as the romance in it, it was I don't know, eh. That part, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, I guess. Um, but as far as the ending, I'm ranting here. Obviously, you can tell, but like the way I didn't prepare for this. I normally would, but since I'm live, I'm just gonna go from my thoughts. Um, so yeah, I do think that um, kills like if they had, I don't know, if they just like not, I don't know, like woven it better or something. Like it just feels kind of poorly edited. Like the edit is fine, but like the way the story is put together, you know, there's a big chunk of it in the hospital, then there's Michael Myers, and there's another hospital. Like I get, you know, changing locations, everything, but it just, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, there's stuff I love in it, stuff I don't like, but I wouldn't say I hate it, any of it really. Um, like James J. Courtney was great; he gave a good performance. Uh, and you know we got to see Nick Castle back. Well, kinda, not really, but you know the cameo, see anything you like, and then the head tilt and um, the breathing that he did in Kills. But yeah, I can still watch these movies and not get annoyed too much to where, you know, I'm not like, you know, that's pretty good. Like I saw what they're going for, might not have succeeded, you know, in the best way. Um, but like I said, it's, I don't know, there's a lot. I'm just rambling, like, I hope I'm making any sense at all. But, yes. Um, I didn't like the Karen character. Uh, and like the comedy with the sweatshirt at Christmas, that threw me off. Um, like a lot of it did annoy me. Like I said, a lot of that did annoy me. Um, but I guess I just got over it. There's been worse throughout this franchise than that. Um, and you know the whole change with Laurie and Michael, with them being, you know, not being siblings again, just her have been a random victim. I like that they went back to the basics and the roots of the original. Um, and uh, yeah, um, I guess I'm at a loss for words now, so hopefully I said enough to where, yeah, excuse me. Um, yeah, but I'm gonna rewatch the original franchise and uh, yeah, I might do a live on that. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, thanks for staying around. I appreciate it, and yeah, uh, yeah. Bye. I guess, yeah.